Welcome back to BSTT. It's Ben here, and today I'm going over about how tonight's Nets-Sixers game is the most anticipated game of the season. So let's get right into the video. So, as basically every basketball fan, or not even basketball fan, knows at this point, James Harden was traded to the 76ers for Ben Simmons, Andre Drummond, Seth Curry, and I think 2 firsts or something like that. But this Harden for Ben Simmons trade didn't spark controversy, but these are 2 players that this year a lot of stuff's happened with them. Ben Simmons, of course, sat out due to what he called mental health issues, which I think are real. Just I think they started because he didn't want to play for them. And James Harden looking terrible in Brooklyn, and then he goes to the Sixers and all of a sudden has a new light and plays insane. I think though that he wasn't even trying in Philly, or not in Philly, in Brooklyn, and he just wanted out, which is true. And you know what? Good for the Nets. They got some stuff back at least, and it wasn't like the whole Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce situation. But yeah, so on one end, you have the Brooklyn Nets, who Stephen A. Smith last night or the night before called them a disgrace to the game of basketball. And they last year created one of, if not, actually not the greatest, but a top 10 big three of all time. Actually, top 25 big three of all time with Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. And yet, less than a year later, Harden's out, and he's in Philly. And so, on the other side, you now have Embiid, who is actually not the front runner. I think Giannis is for MVP. Tyrese Maxey, who out of nowhere is having, or not out of nowhere, but he's having an incredible year and is averaging north of 20-something with Harden. And with Harden, the last time I watched the Nets game, with him playing, they were 4-0 the last time. And he's bringing them to a really good record and making them serious contenders in the East, even though they already were. But this morning, outside Ben Simmons' hotel, when he walked out, he was getting harassed by fans. I got that notification this morning, and I don't feel bad for him at all. He was supposed to be the answer, the process. He was a really early pick for them, and he did terrible. He never shot the ball because he couldn't shoot and he was too scared to. So he was seen blowing shots for passes, and he just all in all played terrible. And then he sat out this year because he didn't want to play there. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't harass the guy, but if I saw him walk outside his hotel in his homecoming game, keep in mind this isn't like he's playing in Sacramento today. He's playing in Philly, where he's number 1 public enemy there. He's gonna get harassed, and if I'm being honest, I wouldn't be mean like these people, but I'd kind of keep bringing up I'd mentioned 3-point shooting and stuff like that. And yeah, but also, I think the whole Harden situation is stupid. And I had barely any respect for him after last year. And that respect has gone down to an all-time low. Maybe 5% respect. This dude last year, he made himself look out of shape by wearing what he was told, what I think is called now a back brace, which looked like a fat suit. And the training staff in Houston knew about it, but they didn't know about it, and they didn't mention it to anyone. And then all of a sudden he goes to Brooklyn, and he's in shape, and he looks great. And then start of this year, he plays kind of good, and then he starts, the Nets start playing bad, and then all of a sudden he stops trying. Then he gets traded to Philly, and he looks great. This stuff doesn't happen once and done. this will probably happen next year in Philly if they go on a slump. That's why I have no respect for Harden. And this game is the most anticipated game of the season. Not because it's the Seth Curry homecoming game, but because of all the rivalry and hatred going into this game. You have one team that hates Ben Simmons, and the other team that hates James Harden. I don't think there's going to be a brawl like with the players, but I think in the stands there might be one, especially because it's Philly, and I was once like involved in a brawl there at a Billy Joel concert. There's going to be some fighting here, and it's going to be probably one of the most watched games of the year, not including like playoffs. Also, if let's go. I could see, like, when they announced Seth Curry's name and Drummond, I could actually see them getting applause because they were respected in Philly. But Ben Simmons' name, I wouldn't be surprised if there were boos. Like I said before, this game is as anticipated as LeBron's game going back to Cleveland after he went to Miami. It's that big, and those are my thoughts on it. So I'm going to enjoy watching it tonight, and although I hate both teams, I'm not rooting for any. I'm rooting for a terrible game, except for Seth Curry. I want Seth Curry to drop 50. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the game, on tonight's game, and please like, subscribe, and have a nice day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.